Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me, Mike Lepre, King Michael. I wanted to do the intro that I usually do. It's me, it's Mike Lepre. I love doing that. But right now, the guy who originated that, the road dog, Jesse James, is currently in the hospital suffering. He suffered a heart attack yesterday. So I'm not going to do that intro. Leaving it to Jesse James. Hope he feels better. Once the road dog is feeling better, I'll be back to my intro. Brother Ray's joining me on the football morning. Brother Ray, how are you this morning? I didn't mean to start with bad news, but I can't do the intro if the road dog's sick.
Yeah, let's. We're all praying for the road dog, and let's hope he makes a speedy recovery. Doing good, King. A lot of football stuff to talk about. Great week. We had some incredible pro days. Some more pro days to come starting tomorrow. I love this time of year.
This is probably one of the most exciting times of the year for me, period, because I'm a Giants fan. So there's been nothing better than this right here. That's all we get. And that's why I wore this shirt, because it demonstrates kind of like what's going on in the NFL right now. Mass chaos. It's just everybody's changing. And when you speak about mass chaos, you're talking about Mastradamus. Mastradamus, how are we this morning?
I'm doing excellent. And you know what's funny is you guys all know how much I love hearing myself talk. And yeah. I've been watching the shows back, and you guys have all these unbelievable mics. I need a mic.
Oh, I can get you one.
You're going to hand me like I'm right in their ear.
Yeah, well.
Great. How you guys doing? Sorry to hear about Jesse James.
Yeah, it stunk. I'm doing great, to be completely honest. I'm literally doing great.
Well, you got to touch some gold. So I heard about you got your hands on some absolute.
So here's what happened, Brother Ray.
It's off.
It's back on?
It's back on. Yeah.
All right. So anyways, I'm getting used to where this thing is. My big dumb hands hit it all the time. So I ended up making a friend, I won't say the store, with one of the managers at a local store. And they were like, yeah, we'll hold the sports cards for you, like when they come in, when the truck brings them in on Sunday morning. So I went there on Sunday. They're behind the counter. It was just like Mastradamus saw what I picked up. I sent you the picture. It cost me $30 total. It was 2 packs of the 62 Topps cards, like in each, and then one football. This company, they make a football card that box actually sells for $27 on eBay. The one I got for like $4. So I got a couple of those, but then I actually purchased these football cards that I was telling Mastradamus. And I don't even know the name of that company, but he said that they're a big name now.
Gold.
So Ray, I bought that company. I bought 2 packs of those cards, and I didn't get any rookie quarterbacks, Brother Ray. I got all the rookie running backs pretty much almost, and I think I might have got all the rookie wide receivers. I got Judy. I got this really awesome CeeDee Lamb one that's like kind of blue, whatever on it. I got Ruggs. I got I got J.K. Dobbins. I got Jonathan Taylor. I got like these are all like receiver. Oh, Xavier McKinney rookie card. Like I got some like, so I don't know what they're worth. I'll be completely honest, and I'm going to be even more honest. Now that I have them, I don't want them. I want to give them to somebody. So no, I'm being honest. Someone give me what's fair value, flat value, and take them out of my hands because I will ruin them. I will ruin them. You know this about me. What's that, Matt?
This is where I step in. I got my brother and I got my friend Tim, and there's very many ways of collecting and selling. Right now, you're not going to get the value of them right now because they haven't made their careers yet. So you're actually going to be doing someone a favor by helping them get the card that they've been seeking for bottom line. What you want to do is hold on to those cards. Actually, just hold on to them just for the simple fact that you actually got your hands on some gold in the card frenzy that people are willing to just shoot people for in the card lines for plastics.
Yeah,
you got to absolutely look at those cards.
Yeah, but I got to get rid of them, Ray, because you know why I'll ruin them. I will. That's what I do to stuff. So, but yeah, it was fun, and I got some other ones that I'm going to try to sell to see what happens with them. It was just fun seeing cards again. If I'm being completely honest, that's what made it exciting for me. But all right, let's talk free agency. I mean, I don't want to just make this a New York Giants football show because I want to. because they did so much, and I can discuss what the Giants did as an organization so much that it's ridiculous. But let's just start with this simple fact. Why do I think, and this is what I think, so it's why do I think the New York Giants improved the most out of any football team in the NFL? And why do I feel like the New York Giants put themselves in a position to easily take the NFC East and become a dominant NFC team? Why? Well, here's the thing. We got rid of we kept Solar, right? So Solar stayed, signed a different deal, helped us out because he kind of had to sit out last season. Family issues, right? The rookie tackles that we drafted are all starting to come together. We may need a guard, something like that in there. As far as running back, can't talk about anybody but Saquon. We just picked up a decent backup in, I forget his name. We've got Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph as our tight ends. We just went and got Galladay to go with Shepard, and my guy, my main man, Slayton, Darius Slayton. And then if you look at the way the draft is going to go, there is an extreme high probability that someone either of Pitts, Waddle, or one of the other receivers, Smith, might be there. One guy might make it to 11 because of how the draft changed. When you go through it now and you see the teams taking quarterbacks and what they're taking, one weapon bounced to 11. We'll go over it afterwards, but I'm telling you this. Now, even if they were to add, say Waddle slips to that spot, you put him on that receiving core with those other guys, with that defense that they have, and let's not sleep on their defense with the McKinney as a safety learning from, what's his name, from the Pats and the Logan Ryan. I can't remember people's names. I remember where they played. But that whole team with Jabril Peppers, the linebackers that they're getting, look, the Giants went out and got probably the best wide receiver, probably the second best cornerback in the draft. And it's in free agency. We never do that. We never get the best of anything, right? But we really did. And even the other guys they picked up, like the backup guards, they've got like NFL experience. The way Joe Judge is doing this is different than any Giants organization has done before. And it all comes down to now that we're going to give you time, Daniel, can you make the plays? Because that's the big thing with him. He was getting killed. No one wants to admit that. No one wants to talk about the fact that Eli Manning, I wrote this earlier, Eli Manning only had good years when they blocked for him. When Eli Manning was blocked, he was great. When he wasn't blocked, he fell down like Beetle Bailey. He just would collapse to the ground under pressure. He would feel it coming and go to the ground. Daniel Jones gets hit so much and fumbles so much because he's getting hit because he holds on to the last second. But the thing is, he's not really holding on to the last second. He doesn't even have 3 seconds. That line's been bad. The New York Giants line's been bad since like forever, since the 70s, it seems. Honestly, be like 4 or 5 years. It's just been bad. You can't throw him back there. So if they give him time like I believe they do, and then if they have the weapons that they possibly can have, does Daniel succeed? That's all I want to know from you guys, because that's going to make the difference. I'm telling you, if Daniel succeeds and he's a B-plus player, a B or above, the Giants will become the best NFC team with the way it's built right now. Brother Ray, tell me about Daniel Jones.
This is going to be the year for Daniel Jones. He's shown flashes in the past, flashes of great ability. He can move out of the pocket. However, it's the consistency. And this year, and we talked about this before, there are no more excuses. He's going to have weapons. He's going to have Barkley back in the backfield. They've made some changes. They've added to that team. This is going to be his year. It's make or break for him. Really, his career as a starting quarterback is on the line this year. I think he's going to improve because you've seen the flashes in the past. You've seen what he can do when he has a good game script and he's consistent. That will be the big thing. And I think one of the reasons why they drafted him is because he was taught by the same quarterback guru and coach that taught the Mannings, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. So the hope is that he has those bones, he has that blueprint, and he can follow in those footsteps. I'm not saying he's going to be the player that Peyton Manning is or even Eli, but he's had that in him. He's got that blueprint. So I think it's make or break for him.
Matty, what about you?
I'm not the biggest believer in Daniel Jones, but like you said, it could be the fact that the line hasn't given him a chance to showcase his abilities. He has nowhere to hide this year, and I believe that puts the pressure right on him. So can he thrive in that moment of the pressure being on him? We're going to see. He has no excuses. Like Brother Ray just said, you got Saquon behind you. That should be the pressure off you. Now Saquon's going to have probably a lot more room to go up in the middle of that defense. Now that you can't really stock the box as much. You can't at all. So, we'll see what this offense should be able to do. Can he be the conductor? I like the Redskins, and we're not talking about the Redskins right now, but that's basically what they have to do. They have to overcome where the Redskins' momentum left off. I think the Redskins football team, I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't even notice you said it. I didn't even notice you said it. I'm sitting just thinking about it.
Washington, the team that comes from Washington, I think that they,
listen,
they got that defense, and they're gonna.
I agree with you. They were definitely a team that was ascending as the year ended. The Washington football team. However, the New York Football Giants were better than them in head-to-head combat. They played twice. We beat them both. They were better. We were a better team than they were. They got into the playoffs because of how bad the division was. Period. Right? No team should have got into the playoffs from the NFC East last year. I'm serious. They all had horrible records, but the Giants could beat the Washington football team. I really do. I think the Eagles are football. What?
The football team gave the Buccaneers their best contest in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I believe that.
But the Giants played the Buccaneers really tough too.
Well, it's divisional rival games. Oh, well, the Bucs.
They almost beat them,
and they should have.
I'm telling you, what I'm trying to say is, look, the Eagles are on a downward spiral. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what they're doing, and I'm so happy. It just seems like another Philadelphia type move. The Cowboys, we're going to see how Dak plays. We're going to see what happens because no one really knows about the Cowboys. They should be good, but they've always should be good every year. The two teams to watch are definitely the football team and the Giants. Those two teams are the teams that are young, that are coming forward and have like whatever talent. I just think we're better offensively. The Giants have, if they even pick up another receiver, they're already probably going to be in the top 5 teams as far as weapons. They have to be now. They have to be with Golladay and Ross and all those different people, Slayton and Shepard and like I said, that Rudolph and Evan Ingram and Saquon out of the backfield. I mean,
what do you think when you got Fitzpatrick against Danny Dimes? Like, it's so crazy to compare those two. You got Fitz, who's so streaky, but he's gonna whip it, and then you got Daniel Jones, a little bit more conservative, but you wish he would open it up, and I think he will.
He tries. You can't get into the second progression. If you ever watched the Giants, he can't even get into a second look. It's like hut, and you just see collapse. That's how it's been the last 2 years. Ray, would you agree? Like, it's been really hard on him as far as like 1, 2. He doesn't have that. He can't read the guy going deep.
I don't think it can all be on the line. I think his decision making has been suspect, especially this past year. He's not making those progressions the way he should. And I think he'd be the first one to admit it. Again, if he improves and you hope that, after a couple of years, it starts to slow down for you.
That's exactly it.
I think that'll happen.
The game needs to slow down to him. And then you're exactly right. And I'm going to say it again. And the best way for that to happen is to have more time in the pocket. Like, if you can get a little bit comfortable, once they get comfortable, QBs, you see they get hot. If you can get a little comfortable.
Have more time just because it's going to be a little bit more open. You got to kind of defend all areas of the field now with that offense. So they
can run.
Yeah, they can run. They could.
No, I mean, he can.
You don't want.
And you can run so fast he falls.
I love that. That was a great play. But I really do believe that when you have an offense that can attack all over, you almost have to kind of sit back and see what that offense is going to do before you attack. Because say you do attack, he can just do a halfback delay and then run right up the gut, and You can do
It
so
just-
much.
Yeah, it allows you to do any style you want.
Anything you want. So we should see it, you know.
All right, Brother Ray, what other teams in free agency would you like to discuss that pop up?
I'm going to give some props to the other team from New York. I'm going to give some props to the Jets.
Oh no, the Jets.
They had a ton of
Jets.
money, and Joe Douglas has made some really bad decisions, and they're moving on from Adam Gase. But if you look at what they added on paper, and they really didn't spend as much money they didn't get like the really high profile guys. But if I'm looking at that offense, you got Corey Davis, who I think we all agreed is an underrated wide receiver who looked like a number one this year. He just happened to be playing with a really good alpha in Tennessee. So I think he's going to add. I really like Keelan Cole. I love the Cole signing. That's a player in Jacksonville that when he had opportunities and reps,
Right.
he put up numbers and on a really bad team. So I think he's going to go in there and he's really going to add to them. They added Tevin Coleman, the running back from the Niners, formerly with Atlanta. Another guy, when he's healthy and you give him the reps, he produces. He was injured pretty much most of last year. So, I mean, they really added. And if you look at their defense, they added Lawson and Rankins on the line. They're really setting themselves up for the draft. And luckily for them, they're sitting at number 2, and they're going to be able to take Wilson, and that's their quarterback of the future. Now, I think we all talked about, them keeping Darnold, and either way, I think they're in a good spot. Because if they keep Darnold, they're going to trade that number 2 pick for a king's ransom, because right now Zach Wilson is the hottest quarterback in the draft. So they're in a good spot. And with these free agency signings, I think they're primed to improve.
All right, Matt, do you have a team that sticks out to you? Because I hear you, Brother Ray, on the Jets. I just feel like a lot of those players are like you said last show, injured a lot. There's a lot of ifs, but maybe it'll all work for the Jets. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll all work. Matt, what do you think? Who do you got?
Well, I definitely have to echo Brother Ray with the Jets there, because now that you got 2 quarterbacks in the AFC East, things have really changed now. You haven't had stability in the AFC East. The Patriots have rocked every tree and made nobody have consistency over the years. Now you got Josh Allen, and you do have Zach Wilson coming in there, and I think he's a star. I think he's going to be a star, and I think he's going to be undeniable. I think he's going to be great for that Jets organization. With other teams that did well, I said the Tampa Bay Bucks. How often do you see a Super Bowl team retain all their key players? That was great. How about San Francisco? Like, even though I don't agree with what they're doing, Kyle Shanahan, I see that offense. He is a mastermind of getting guys in space and making players. Like, he was RG3 offensive coordinator of the year. He won offensive rookie of the year over Andrew Luck. He was the mastermind behind the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl, even though they really kind of just went to the jugular and didn't really kill the clock. He's always had a great offensive mind, and he makes the most out of chicken shit. He makes chicken shit salad out of chicken shit all the time, and I could see why he would want to go for one of these young quarterbacks. I happen to think that they put themselves in a position for Justin Fields. I think Wilson goes second. I think Fields goes third, and I think you see them move on from Jimmy G. But I think that the 49ers are doing this because they believe they're Super Bowl caliber, and I think that.
So, listen, speaking of Super Bowl caliber, listen to this group of names. Cam Newton re-signed a 1-year deal. James White, 1-year deal. Nelson Aguilar, 2-year contract. Kendrick Bourne, 3-year deal. Hunter Henry, 3-year deal. John Smith, 4-year deal. Trent Brown was quiet in trade. David Andrews signed 4-year deal.
That's a huge deal for David Andrews.
1-year deal. Dietrich Wise Jr., 4-year contract.
Huge.
Devon Godchow agreed to a 2-year deal. Lawrence Guy re-signed on a 4-year. Montrevious Adams, 1-year. Henry Anderson, 2-year. Matt Judon signed a 4-year. Raekwon McMillan signed a 1-year. Kyle Van Noy agreed to a 2-year. Justin Bethel re-signed on a 3-year. Jalen Mills signed a 4-year. Cody Davis on a 2-year. Nick Folk, the kicker, re-signed a 1-year deal. That's a lot of shopping, for crap's sake. The Patriots went shopping. They went old school, family size shopping. I don't know why it's just me. It just shouldn't be, but there it's back.
Do you guys remember me saying that Nelson Aguilar was a poor man's Brandon Cooks and Kendrick Bourne was here for Jimmy? Do you remember that? And I said that San Fran on Thursday night, I said San Fran is moving up to acquire their QB of the future. I thought it was going to be with the Jets, but the Jets fell in love with Zach Wilson, and I'm sure they should because he's phenomenal. But it happened, and it was to number 3. And Jimmy G will be a Patriot because this offense through the offseason has been facilitated and funneled towards Jimmy G, just like that Brandon Cooks pick. This is Nelson Aguilar. You got Kendrick Bourne, who's buddies with Jimmy. He's there. He's the David Givens, their possession receiver. And then you got the poor man's George Kittle with Jonnu Smith. And now you have the Jimmy G offense.
So now when you talk about that trade right there, you go to another AFC East team. You switch to Brother Ray's team, who I thought may be in first place so far in the offseason or second place to the Giants. I literally feel like our two teams are 1 and 2. Brother Ray, what did you think of the trade?
I first of all, I thought it was great. I thought both trades were great, but I think the second trade told me a story that I probably want to get into a little bit later. But I think because of what happened on Friday at a couple of pro days, I think that precipitated both moves by the Dolphins and by other teams. I think what you're seeing is the Eagles wanted the number 2 pick. They tried to get to number 2.
Yeah, it did.
And guess what? The Jets weren't having it because they're gonna take Wilson. So that tells you right there, the Eagles wanted to upgrade the quarterback position.
Yes, they did.
Once that went down, they said, "All right, we're gonna trade out of this and try and get an extra first-round pick in a future year." Zach Wilson's pro day affected. A lot of dominoes fell because of that.
Yep.
That's why I think the 49ers moved up with the Dolphins, and they wanted that because they're going to pick a quarterback there. I personally think it's Trey Lance. I think they're going to keep Jimmy for a year, and I think they're going to develop Trey Lance behind him. I think if the Pats trade for Jimmy, it's either going to be after the draft or maybe even after the season. But the Dolphins, it's interesting. I mean, it's a great move on paper. I mean, they got a bounty. They got 2 future number 1s, and then they were able to maneuver that and move up back to number 6. The thing, though, is everyone now automatically thinks that they're going to take a receiver there or they're going to take Pitts.
Yeah.
That's not the case because there was another pro day on Friday, okay? A local pro day for Rhode Islanders. Kid named Kwity Paye absolutely busted out. He busted out in a way that you don't see defensive ends bust out. I mean, 4.5, 240, 36 bench presses of 225. And the biggest thing that he did on that day was he didn't run the 3-cone in that day, but there's tape of him 2 days earlier doing the 3-cone. And I mean, I looked at it and I couldn't believe it. He did a 6.37 3-cone drill. To put that into perspective, Tyreek Hill did a 6.53 3-cone drill. Wow. So what does a 3-cone show you?
He's quick.
Quickness, change of direction, and explosion. And for a defensive lineman, that is more important than a 40-yard dash.
All right. Now, Kwity Paye, 2 things. First of all, one, why would the Eagles trade up to get a quarterback? What the are they doing? All they keep doing is gathering quarterbacks and then sending them away. They do it every year. It might be on stuck. They need to hit a button because they keep drafting quarterbacks. Now, Kwity Paye is not listed as an edge. He's technically listed as a defensive lineman. I saw the list today come off from CBS Sports. As far as edge, they only had, I want to say, 20 people tops The rest were all D linemen. Now, Gregory Rousseau was considered an edge. Kwity Paye was considered a defensive lineman. Where I think that works for Kwity is that he can play both. So if you in the defensive lineman department, there's no star there. There's more stars on the outside that you'd have to fight with to be the number one edge guy. Less to fight with as far as being the tackle, because you can do things that they can't. So I think that's what helped him. You know what I mean?
He's right now going to be the first defensive lineman selected, and I'm telling you right now, I think he's going number 6 to the Dolphins.
Oh.
I think he's going number 6. I don't think they're taking Chase. Chris Greer, the GM for the Dolphins, was at Quity's pro day, and he was in a really good mood. You look at the other connections. The owner, Stephen Ross, is a Michigan alumni. The business school is named after Stephen Ross. If you hear his cell phone go off, his ringer is the Michigan fight song. Okay? Their linebacker coach, Campanelli, used to be the linebacker coach at Michigan 2 years ago. He knows Kwity Paye. This is all lining up. Their number one need right now isn't wide receiver, the Dolphins. Once they sign Fuller, edge rusher, they have nobody on the other side of Agba. To me, it's lining up. I think Quity's going number 6 to the Dolphins.
It's funny you say that, but I just had a revelation when you were just saying that, because I know I've said before they love Preston Williams. Devontae Parker is still probably in their eyes their number 1 or 1A at least. And Fuller is a magnificent number 2. So you're absolutely right. How much do you like Jamar Chase? You probably like him, but it's not a necessity. But I do want to challenge you, and I don't want to stay stuck on the Jimmy point, but I will offer you 2 points. $25 million is not happening this year. So they got to come to him and say, we got to reduce your salary. And he's going to go, I want to be traded. I don't want to be taking a salary cut for you. And when it comes to starting Jimmy, and I know they say they want to keep him around for a year, if Jimmy runs off 4 or 5 wins in a row, that fan base is going to go, why are you moving up and selecting this guy at number 3? That's what's going to happen, and it's a high risk. I think they bring in somebody like a Sam Donald or somebody as a stopgap as soon as the Jets possibly move on from Sammy Donald. I don't see Jimmy going to anywhere else. He's got a no-trade clause. The Bears say that they are after him. They just gave $14 million to the Red Rocket. He's going to be a Patriot. I challenge anybody.
Another point. The Andy Dalton signing. Is Chicago another team that doesn't get it? Are they another team like the Eagles that they don't get it right now when it comes to quarterbacks? They don't know who to put there.
They might like They might like Drass. They might like a quarterback that no one's got their eyes on. They might think that they're going to get Mac Jones. Who knows? The Bears probably feel like Andy Dalton is an upgrade over Trubisky. I don't know. I don't think he is. I think Trubisky started doing very well at the end there, and I think they should have probably retained Trubisky, and who knows?
Listen, so there's two stories that I heard about people that are in the draft that I wanted to share with you. There's an offensive lineman, Rashard Weaver, out of Pitt. He's like, I think he's like ranked maybe 5th or 6th as a defensive lineman. So, or an end. So Rashard Weaver is going to be the perfect like what's how do I explain it? You know the run defense defendant DNs. But some DNs they are linemen. Their job is to just go after the quarterback, the rushers, whatever. But then you have that defensive end or whatever that's really big, and you just want him to make sure he holds the edge or he crushes the run. You know what I'm trying to say? Like there are like the linemen that you want and you covet for the run game to be able to control everything. And that kid is a beast. He's just not like, he's not like super like fast. He's not going to explode or anything like that, but you never see him lose ground. He's destroying people. He's just pushing whoever he's got right up the field. I think he had like a really good game too against one of the main offensive tackles, and he did well. But he's just a big, strong kid. The second one was on was it one of the quarterbacks that I heard the story on? No, I don't. You know, I don't remember the story right now. I'll explain it in a second. I wanted to go over the positions though, real quick. Let me go over some of the positions, and we'll go over some of the people that I kind of made my own little list here of top top people, and let's just touch on them. And I think, brother Ray, you pick a position. Let's do it that way. Any position you want. Before you do your spot, I know you're gonna do a little spot, but just pick a position for me. Maybe it has nothing to do with your spot.
Yeah, go with let's hear wide receiver.
All right, here we go. All right. So are we all in agreement that Jamar Chase is number one? Even though he didn't play last year at 6 feet 208. Jamar Chase, number one. Right?
Yes.
Matt?
I would agree, but I've heard rumors of Waddle being selected before him just because of the fact that Chase took the year off. But I think Chase is clear cut the number one. Clear cut the number one.
All right. So here's what I like about him, because I went back and watched. He does dominate, and he's 6 feet 208. That's a good sized kid. You know what I mean? Because next I have Jalen Waddle and then Devonta Smith. And dude, Jalen Waddle's 5'10", 182, which is muscular, but it's still 182 right of weight, total weight. Devonta Smith is 6'1", which is taller, but 175.
He's really 170, but
the kids are not big.
But he
What do you
plays.
think of him?
He plays big. His numbers have always been big. He must be so swift that he's hard to hit because
But that's in college, Matt. You know what I mean?
Oh.
That's in college, and those guys always get hit eventually. There's a hit. It's coming.
It doesn't matter. He's going to translate. He's going to be, I believe, borderline elite on the next level. And I do think that there's a chance he could be. I don't want to compare him to Waddle because Waddle is just in Alabama because I think Waddle's going to be great in his own right. But I just want to say that I think no matter his size, he plays big. He's going to be great.
So,
Yeah,
right, so
I agree. I think Smith is a taller version of Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson came to the NFL 170 pounds. Everyone said he wouldn't last. Jerry Rice, I can remember because Jerry Rice worked with him, raved about him, called a bunch of NFL teams and said, you need to take this kid. He's a winner. The thing about Smith is he's got bulldog in him. He fights. He's a competitor. He works hard. I know everyone's saying he's 170. He's not going to last. He is not a one-trick pony. I think he's going to be a good pro.
all right, but hear me out on this. So you got Chase, and then we go Waddle, Smith, or Smith Waddle. It's going to be preference. But then there's Rondale Moore from Purdue. Again, though, 5'9", 180. Unbelievable speed, all that stuff the other guys have. Again, though, with the size. I have an issue with the receivers that are small. I don't want small receivers. Yeah, I really don't. It's like, for me, it's like 6'1" or above. But I guess this year it's filled with tiny guys that if they get hit head on, I'm afraid for them. Like Devonta Smith is incredible. He's never been in the NFL. He's never gotten hit by an NFL player like that.
The same NFL anymore. You hit somebody so hard you get ejected, Mike.
I just think that I think we're traveling down really. There's what, Ray, after Rondale Moore, maybe Kadarius Toney out of Florida.
Yeah, I mean, you look at people like Kadarius Toney,
6 feet 190.
He's like a Debo. He's like a Debo Samuel. He's sturdy enough. I think Kadarius Toney. He can
but 6 feet 190 though. That's still kind of light to me.
Not for a wide receiver. It's not. I mean, he's solid. He's just like Debo. He's got that sturdy build. He can go over the middle. He can take a shot. So I mean, the thing too, you got to understand. I think this is another reason why I think the Dolphins are going to go Quiddy at 6. Is you have somebody that you can take in the second or third round, like Nico Wallace from Michigan, who's 6'4", 215, 219, who had an incredible pro day. And someone like him, he's going to drop because he didn't have a quarterback at Michigan. That offense was pathetic. But you have someone now that could walk in. It could be a starter that you can get in the second and third round. But you know what? I think if you're a player, you're a player. I know Smith's getting knocked, and a lot of these other wide receivers get knocked because of their size. But that's the NFL now. That's what they're looking for.
All right, but what I'm gonna say is this: if I'm a GM and I'm drafting for my team and I'm trying to build it going forward, I would probably look at a different position than risk my pick on somebody that I feel is way too undersized. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Make up
Like,
your mind.
I wouldn't do this just based on their size. You know what I mean? Rashad Bateman is 6'2", 210. That might be the guy I'd take in the second round. He might not make it in the second round, but that's the guy from Minnesota that I'm looking at. Like,
I think too, King, they're looking at explosive traits, like Devonta Smith and Waddle. Just like Ruggs last year, that explosive speed and quickness gets people's attention. Bateman is got the build of a prototypical one, but he doesn't have that speed and that quickness that stands out.
sometimes you don't need that. You need to get separation.
But when you're talking first round, what's getting drafted? It's
all right. So I read. Here was the stat that I read. Joe Burrows. They did like percentage of passes that were like defended extremely tightly. He threw 100. He threw 120 of those in his 1 or 2 year span career, right? And then Mac, what's his name?
Mac Jones.
Only threw 30 something passes in his whole career, that whole year career or whatever it was. How long he played? I think it was a year and a half. Only 33 times did he throw into like tight gaps, type spaces.
Great.
Whereas Burrows did it like 120 something times. So the knock on Mac Jones is he doesn't like to throw into coverage. He really like to throw when guys are more wide open. And I'm not joking, it's true.
But look at the receivers he had.
Well, all right.
Those guys, Waddle, Smith, they're all future NFL players. That's not his fault. He's actually good at touch passes and getting the ball into small windows. If you look at what he did at the Senior Bowl practices, that's not his fault that he was playing with NFL prospects, in my opinion.
I don't think Mac Jones has the NFL ability. I think he is a really good quarterback, but I think that when we start to go down this quarterback line, I think it stops at him. I don't think he should be a first round pick.
Oh, he will be.
But that's a shame.
He's probably the most NFL ready. He's probably the most NFL ready as far as skill and
ready to lose.
Years.
Yeah, ready to lose. Jesus, Christopher. All right, Ray, you wanted to talk about something?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about we talked about Kwity and his incredible day, but I wanted to talk about a couple of running backs. We know Harris, we know Etienne are going to be first round picks. Etienne may fall to early second. They're considered 1 and 2, but I think if you look at those two running backs from North Carolina, specifically Javonte Williams, 5'10", 220. I look at him and I think LaDainian Tomlinson, he has like this great ability to miss tackles. He had 75 missed tackles last year, number 1 in the nation, 4.59 yards after contact, forced contact, which means he's breaking tackles and he's just driving the rock. He had 6.3 yards per carry. He may move up into that second position. He could potentially be the second running back taken off the board with that ability. And I know he played on a team with Michael Carter. The next running back I'm going to talk about now, you look at Michael Carter, 5'7", 5'8", 199. He's not going to be a bell cow, but his escapability, the way he makes people miss, I actually think he's a lot more exciting than Williams with the ball in his hands. And again, he had limited opportunities because he's got Williams next to him and on the same team. But we're talking about a team captain, someone who can catch the ball. And I think on the next level, he's going to be like a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, but he's going to make a difference for some teams and he's going to take over some games because he's got that all around skill set. His vision is unbelievable.
Brother Ray, just quickly, it's funny that you have this take because I was writing down all my notes this morning, and when I'm ranking my running backs and I got to watch what they did, Javonte Williams jumps out so much more than anybody else for me. He went right by Najee Harris, and Travis is like that with him. Like, I think that kid could be that good. I'm with you with a 100%. with him as far as being the number 2 back at the least.
He's rising. He's going to rise. There's no doubt. I mean, he has what you look for at that next level. And he checks all the boxes. So, but I think both of those guys. I think Carter's going to find a home in the NFL.
Yeah.
He can make people miss. He has natural vision. He can do things you just can't teach.
Agreed. All right, so who's next?
I mean, those are the two guys that I wanted to talk about just off the top of my head.
What about Ramondre Stevenson, the guy that I want? Ramondre Stevenson.
If you guys remember, I talked about him a while back when we started talking about running back prospects and who caught your eye. He's a fullback that plays running back, basically. And he is an absolute freight train. And he's actually pretty good at catching the ball out of the backfield, too. He's another guy at the Senior Bowl that when teams look at him, he's not going to fumble. He's always going to fall forward. He's a great short yardage back. He can block. His blocking skill is going to get him a job as just alone on third down because he can trickle out, catch the ball. He's got sleepy speed and quickness for his size. He's 250, guys.
Yeah, he's 6 feet, 250. Do you know how big that is? Like, you guys, honestly, think about that for a second. Do you know how big 6 feet, 250 is? Like, I'm 6 feet, and I'm out of shape, I feel. But I'm like 180 pounds, 180 something pounds. If I put on 64 pounds of muscle, you would not even recognize me. Do you know what I mean? I would be like, boom. Everything would just go. Yeah, he is gigantic.
No one wants to tackle this guy. I mean, watch his tape. Nobody wants to tackle this guy. I mean, he's got tree trunks for legs. He's your old school thumper. And there is going to be a spot for him in the
Brandon
NFL.
Jacobs. Yep, I know all about it. I keep looking. That's why I'm telling you that's a guy the Giants would pull the trigger on because yeah, we have Barkley, but wouldn't it be great to have like a short yardage back to go out there and do the dirty work like that, stuff like that. But Matt, what about you? Who do you got like as far as running backs, wide receivers, something like that you want to speak about that we're not talking about? Who needs some love?
It's funny because there's a double hyphen name for the wide receivers. I think his name's Ramon. Do you got that name?
I got to remember now.
He's probably projected for around a 3rd round pick.
Amon Ra from USC.
Yes. I believe he's going to be a Patriot. I think he's a high upside wide receiver. I think he gets hit in the roughs, and I do think he's going to be a perfect Patriot. Somebody that will fall to them. He's a high octane player. Can probably run every route you'd like. Good hands. He's everything you want, and I think he's NFL ready. We'll see. Anybody who gets him probably will get a gem. I'd love it to be the Patriots, but
Sage Surratt, Wake Forest, 6'3", 215. That's gonna be another kid that people are gonna covet. 6'3", 215, Sage Surratt.
Tight end from Penn State is another gritty, tough kid. I think his name is like Heffernan.
Pat Freiermuth.
Freiermuth, yeah.
He's a big boy, and he'll probably get a little bit more weight as he gets older. But right now, he was a man amongst boys out there on the field and kind of smash mouth, old school football. He's a good kid.
Question for you, though, guys. Right? I was looking through this today, and they only really ranked 4 tight ends, or 5. If you
where
watch,
they got him, is he number 2 or 3? Where do they got him?
The guy from Penn State's 2.
He's 2.
But what I'm saying is they only show 5 tight ends every time I go to a different site. Like they'll have like 30 receivers. If I was a tight end and I wasn't in this 5, I'd be pissed. They are only showing 5 tight ends. It's Pitts.
Well, that's really the cutoff for most drafts. You got basically like say the top 50 players, and that's really what they go. But they go with the top 5 of most positions. Some positions are deeper than others, most years, but that's where you really want to gauge is we'll talk about the top 5.
I guess, but they go deep. They go much deeper in all the other positions. So listen, Kyle Pitts, Florida, number 1. That kid Pat Freiermuth, 6'5", 260, number 2. Brevin Jordan, another Miami Hurricane tight end, 6'3", 245. Then Tommy Tremble, Notre Dame, 6'4", 248. And then finally, the last one they talk about is Hunter Long, Boston College, 6'5", 253. Now, I think Tommy Tremble or Hunter Long in the later rounds, mid rounds, are both perfect pickups. They're both like mobile tight ends.
I like Tremble.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know, Brother Ray. Your thoughts on that part?
Yeah, no, I mean the thing with the tight end position is it really is based on what the team needs. You have some teams that like to use two tight ends, like the Patriots. They want that traditional tight end, and they also may look for an H-back. Some teams have tight ends just for blocking. So there'll be a bunch of offensive linemen that'll be drafted that'll be switched to tight end. You see it every single year where they'll switch that person over because they need the blocking tight end is such a staple for like West Coast teams. It seems like the Chiefs use a lot of that as well. So yeah, I think Tremble and Long, I think they're going to be values at the end of the draft. Even players like Freiermuth. I mean, the problem is you have a blue chip player like Pitts. That's actually going to raise those other guys because Pitts is going to go, I don't know, top 5 picks potentially. So these other guys are going to raise a bit, but obviously the quality drops significantly because Pitts is a generational player.
All right. So I want to do a mock draft. The three of us will just speak it out, and we'll see where we end up. But before that, for the tackles, there's only 2, right, that could probably play left. That's what I've come up with as a decision. Sewell and Slater, right? They say Darisaw is he destroys people, but he doesn't rub it in their face. Which I'm like, I don't want an offensive lineman like that. I want my offensive lineman to be the meanest person on the football team, right? Don't you want your offensive lineman to be mean people? So, Ray, Penei Sewell or Sean Slater, and then it starts to get weird at the Darisaw, Tucker, Jenkins, Mayfield type line, right? Yeah, I don't think the linemen are that good this year, Ray. So how do people jump up to get Slater?
Slater's actually moving up the board right now. Some teams actually like Slater better than Sewell, which I mean I don't understand that, but that's really the comp right now. Sewell and Slater are like a dead heat. Darisaw more of a right tackle that a lot of teams are thinking of putting him inside. I think the 2 players that I hear a lot of stuff about as far as moving up are Vera Tucker because Austin Jackson was a first-round pick for the Dolphins, and they think Vera Tucker's better than Jackson. He could be someone I think to move up, and I think he can play left tackle. And Alex Leatherwood from Alabama.
Yeah. Big kid.
A lot of teams had him slated as a right tackle, but he has the ability to play left. He has everything you want.
He's 6'6".
He's played against top competition in the SEC. I think Leatherwood is another player that's going to jump up in the first round.
See, the thing about the tackles, right? Now, Leatherwood, you say, because and I go, wow, him and Tevin Jenkins, they're both like 6'6". But Tevin Jenkins is like 320. Leatherwood's 312. But then you go back to Penei Sewell, and that dude's 6'6" too, and he's 330. That's why he is the number 1 offensive lineman. That guy's a monster. The team that drafts this kid is drafting a monster to put at left tackle.
That's why we have
feet, King. It's feet. I mean, it's footwork. That's what separates the high first-round pick from the second and third round guy. It's feet. To be able to move and quickness, and it's all about footwork. And people like Sewell and Slater, they have that footwork.
Agreed. Matt,
we got to go over the new mock draft with the time that we have left since the movement of the trades.
All right, let's do it then. Brother Ray, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go. With the number 1 pick for the 2021 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select
Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly.
Laviska Shenault becomes the biggest star of next year because of it.
Now, with the number 2 pick, who's number 2? I don't even have the lineup in front of me.
Zach Wilson without lock it in. And that's why the cards had to be showed, like Brother Ray was saying earlier. It ended up becoming your hand is shown because you're not willing to talk about the number 2. So that's why 49ers said we're doing 3. But there's also reason to believe that number 4 Atlanta is for a quarterback.
Don't scare me with that. Stop. All right. So number 2, there's not going to be a trade for the second position. All right. People keep saying Carolina's going to trade in there, but all right. Let's see. Carolina takes. I mean, I'm sorry. So we're saying that number 2, the Jets stay there and take Zach Wilson.
It's
Sorry,
a
I'm
wrap.
over here reading my own. I'm reading what I wrote. Third pick, the 49ers. Do they take Trey Lance? Is
This
that what
is
this
where
is
we
about?
differ, I think. I think Mastradamus is saying it's going to be Fields. I think it's Trey Lance.
Me too.
It will be a quarterback, though.
It's Fields,
Right.
and I think that Kyle Shanahan thinks he's getting the best quarterback in the draft. I think he thinks that.
I'm gonna put. I like Trey. I think they're gonna take Trey. So I'll put Lance slash.
Although I
Fields.
will say, guys, keep in mind that he has coached players like Matt Ryan and Jimmy G. So
And
if
Kirk
it's
Cousins.
looking like for a player like that,
That's Mac Jones.
that's Mac Jones.
That's Mac Jones. So
However, if
Yeah.
he's saying to himself, I want to get away from that, then it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields. But it could very well be Mac Jones.
I could see them selecting Trey Lance, but I think if you want Trey Lance, then you want Justin Fields. I think that Fields is a more polished version of Trey Lance with a big arm. And he's like Cam Newton that can actually throw. He's actually way more talented than Cam Newton, I believe.
It's going to be interesting. Like who like what is his profile? Is he going to stick with what he usually has had with Matt Ryan, and Jimmy G, or is he going to flip the switch like Mastradamus said and go with Fields or even like a Trey Lance? I don't know.
What do you want me to write down?
Put
At
Fields. Put Fields in there.
I think Fields is more deserving.
All right, number 4, the Falcons.
Mac Jones. I've been saying it for months. It's Mac
right.
Jones.
Everyone is saying they like Rashawn Slater. That's everything I've read. They like him as a better tackle. They needed
There's a
offensive
reason
lineman,
the
and they thought
49ers
he
had
was
to
the
go.
best.
There's a reason the 49ers had to go to 3. They talked to Atlanta. Well, I think the word is out on the streets that they know Atlanta is QB hunting. I don't think it's 3 QBs in a row. I think it's 4.
Brother Ray, I don't believe it. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Matty's there, and you got to protect him. I'd almost say offensive lineman here, but if they're going to get their quarterback of the future, though,
Got to be now.
they could do. It's right now. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd probably go with. I might go with Mac Jones, or they trade out.
Mac Jones.
I don't agree with this one at all so far.
Oh,
They're
trade
gonna
out.
take a tackle here at 4. They have no offensive line. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is when you have no offensive line.
we've seen 3
Crap.
quarterbacks in a row before. I don't believe we've ever seen 4. This is
All
it.
right, I'm gonna put in. They like Slater over Sewell, but I'm still gonna put Sewell for me. You guys want another wide receiver? I'll write them down, but I'll put Mac Jones at 4. You guys happy with that?
That's fine.
And here's the best player of the draft picked for the right here. And it's
Number 5, the Bengals. They go to an offensive lineman.
It's
Sewell.
Sewell. They protect the king.
All right, but if all right, you have Sewell going there. I'm gonna have that being Slater because I already had Sewell go. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. Justin Fields. That's why I had taken, but you have him going 3rd, so it's got to be Trey
Not
Lance.
the Eagles anymore. It's the
Miami.
Dolphins.
6, the Dolphins. Okay, my bad. 6, the Dolphins.
Quiddy Pay.
Wow, I don't. All right. I think they take the other lineman, offensive lineman, if he's still there. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. Jamar Chase.
If he's there, it's Jamar Chase. It's Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase Pitts and Micah. What's his face? The
They've
linebacker.
got to go wide out here.
I agree.
Right.
Chase.
Chase. Number 8, the New York Jets. Caleb Farley, cornerback. They need a
The
cornerback.
Jets.
What the hell is going on with you, King? You're making me go crazy.
What happened?
How is it the Jets?
All right. I'm sorry. Number 8. Who's 8 again?
It's got to be the Panthers at 9, right?
The
Who's
Panthers.
10 and 8, Ray?
You who?
Now with these trades, who the frig is picking at 8?
I don't think a trade was made at 8, right? Carolina.
All right. Carolina's at 8. Pitts?
Oh,
See, I think they want Fields. I think Carolina really wants Fields. So I
Did they
would say,
take Trey Lance?
yeah, if Trey Lance is there, I'd say it would be Trey Lance.
Not another position. Quarterback.
Nope.
All right. Number 9 is who?
I think the first defensive back goes off the board here.
The Broncos?
Yeah.
Surtain.
It's either Surtain or Horn, but I'd probably have to say Surtain.
Number 10. That's the Cowboys still, right? Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. They would take Slater if he's still on the board here because they need a lineman. They don't need a receiver. They need defense. We're at number 10 with the Cowboys. They need defense or a lineman. If Slater is still on the board, it would be Slater in a heartbeat.
Or Micah Parsons, to be honest with you.
Maybe. I don't know if that's it. So I would put, who would you want there? I would put, dude, I would love it if somehow Slater fell to number 11. I'm just letting you guys know that. If Slater falls to 11, that could be one of the greatest things that happened to the Giants in forever. Because if he's there, we take him. But
I think it's those two guys. If they're both on the board, it's those two guys back to back.
All right. So even if I put Slater / Parsons, right?
You can then go Parsons / Slater.
Yeah. Now the Giants, how I started the beginning of the show with you guys, I said something, and now look who's not on this list. Pitts is still available. Devonta Smith is still available. Waddle still available. Maybe Micah Parsons or Slater. All right, take Slater off the board for a second. Micah Parsons, Waddle, Pitts, and Devonta Smith. We can get one of those 4 players of the Giants. If we get one of the offensive players, then I'll take out Micah Parsons. So if we're right by this draft at 11, you might have a chance to get Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, or Pitts. If the Giants have that option at 11, are you fucking kidding me? What would you do? I'm sorry, Matt, I might have muted you.
okay.
What would you do? Would you add the tight end Pitts? Or would you add Waddle? Or would you add Devonta Smith? Which weapon should the Giants take at number 11? Brother Ray.
If one of the top tackles are there, you protect your franchise, which is Danny Dimes. You upgraded the wide receiver position. I mean, if I'm them, I would definitely.
Shep's going next year. But Shep's going next year. You got to know how the Giants have like this the salaries. Shepard is going next year. And when he's going to be gone, Slayton is not proven, right? And you're just bringing in people. Ross is proven. So if you went and drafted what's his face like a Devonta Smith and put him on the field with those guys, he's going to be the number 2 with Waddle eventually.
Yeah, but a left tackle is more valuable than a wide receiver.
There's no left tackles available though, unless Slater's there. Other than that, I told you they're just right tackles.
No, if Slater's there, Slater's the pick. If Slater's not there, then you look at one of those weapons. You got to understand, 5 quarterbacks are going to be in the top 10 picks.
Push some times down.
So if you're not taking a quarterback, you're in a great spot in that top 10. And that's why the Dolphins did what they did to make that trade and then move up to number 6, because they know there's potentially 5 quarterbacks that could go in those top 6 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I brought up what the Giants would have available to them on the board. And you guys laughed. You laughed at that idea that those weapons would be there.
See them going for a wideout. Like brother said, they upgraded. They got the 1. They've always had a bunch of 2s.
Yep.
So now you got the 1, and now you can hopefully have those 2s funnel through the space that the 1 created for them. But
who's the number 2 in New York? Who do you trust to be?
I would say
Shepard's gone. You 1 year.
But you're going to hope that maybe Darius Slayton develops, or maybe who they just bring in. Who's the other guy?
Ross.
I'd rather pick up one of those kids. I'm telling you, as a Giants fan, I'm telling you right now.
I don't think so. I think there's other areas.
I think
Joe Judge. Danny. You just said Danny has had no time. You have to protect Danny Dimes.
I agree. But if after Slater, I'm saying after Slater, if Slater's gone and so is Sewell, after
I'm not
that,
saying you don't get a weapon.
I don't think a tackle is worth it.
Pitts over a wideout if they do attack the offensive side. I think Pitts is somebody you have to think about long and hard. You can't pass on him.
Imagine him with Ingram,
It'd be
speed-wise, the two of them.
Yeah, Pitts may play on the outside for teams. You don't understand. Like,
He might be a
a lot
wideout.
of teams are may treat him like a Calvin Johnson
Mhm.
and line him up on the outside on certain occasions. So you could have him and Ingram on the field at the same time. That's pretty scary.
I can't wait for this draft. I'm telling you, there's gonna be so many guys available at 11. That's why I was saying, like, this is really exciting because we've added pieces. You could add pieces like more. Same thing with the Dolphins. Like even the Patriots, who God only knows what they're gonna do in the draft. They can trade whatever they want. How do you want to wrap this week up? You got anything you want to say, Matt?
I just think that Jimmy G's coming home, and I think San Fran is playing hard to get. And I think that they have to look at the realization of their future. Come home, Jimmy.
Ray?
All I got to say is I think if Kwity Paye is there at 11, I think the Giants are going to jump. Really funny thing, I'm watching the video of Kwity bench pressing 36 reps, and in back of him, you can see a giant coach or scout with his clipboard out and his pen, and he's looking at Kwity Paye like he's looking at his prom date.
Dude, I know that. Like I said, what was the one guy I told you that I heard they were talking about, and then the second guy would be Kwity, but it was Rousseau and Kwity. The Giants have been talking about these two guys forever because they're just two big, tall, high motor defensive players. Yeah,
Pro day tomorrow for Rousseau. Rousseau's pro day is tomorrow.
I can't wait. If they pass, if the Dolphins pass on Kwity Paye and he does make it to 11, he's 100% in the conversation because we need somebody to get after the quarterback, a legit person, not somebody that's going to be like a second, third rounder. If you're going to spend the high pick, it better be somebody who can get there. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling the trading has just begun, and we're going to be talking about a lot in the next coming weeks. A lot of teams are going to be changing their colors.
I think Carolina's going to try and jump up too. I think Carolina's going to try and get out of 8 because now they know they have to get up. If they want like Fields or something, you're going to see. I think you guys are right. You're going to see a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tonight from 7 to 8, we have Legit Paranormal. We're going to have in James Anito. We had his partner, Carl L. Johnson, in a couple weeks ago. They're demonologists. It's weird, man. We had such a fun conversation with the demonologist. So now this James will be on tonight. He's also a reverend. And me and the genius will be discussing, I guess, demonology with him. I won't wear this shirt tonight. But I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun time. Check out the website, legitfantasysports.com. This was Legit Fantasy Football for Mastradamus. For Brother Ray, this is King Michael. We're done.